it brings a lot of money in. They go after you professionally,
Yeah.
personally, whatever.
They don't have any limitations we've found. You know, they go after you, your personal life, your job.
She grabs the most vulnerable or the most screwed up people off the street. There is an us versus them mentality. It's a real power trip. It's like,
Yeah.
I have this many followers and this many people dedicated to me. You're nobody.
Your piece
I
of
went
shit,
against the
yeah.
commissioners. Everybody trusts me, that sort of thing. And yeah, like I said, it brings a lot of money in. So that's a big part of it. And as far as what they've got going on over there, it is essentially a lifetime plan
Yeah.
for this woman.
Mhm.
And he'll always, and also there is some little intricacies, like as far as the story about the local business that got them evicted. He came up with that. She didn't want to do that. Come to find out, we found that out when we did our halfway investigation. So I mean, there's a certain dynamic there where they are tied together. They have to be.
Yeah.
There's bad stuff that either could say about the other one. There's a lot to be gained by them remaining locked together like that.
Yeah.
And you know, that's really it. Like he fancies himself as kind of like an indestructible promoter of them. Um that's really it. I mean,
So,
he's just
so you're saying that they have sort of a symbiotic relationship where she has sort of a scam operation going, and he is the front man, and he's benefiting from all of this. So
yeah.
he doesn't want it to stop because he's benefiting. She's obviously benefiting because this is her thing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
because you guys stumbled upon this and started exposing it, they don't want this to they want you to stop. So they're
Oh yeah,
That's
they
right.
want us
trying
to
to
be
lean
gone.
on you, basically try to lean on you to, get you to stop it. Is that basically what's happening here?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
100%.
And it was really just that first video we did was really just an observation.
Yeah.
Like he likes to repeat a billion times. We don't have a big following. Any other charitable situation or shoot, even a new cult would just kind of shake off the criticism of an outsider
Yeah.
and just say, look at all we're doing for people. You see it on film, look at this.
Yeah. They
Then
don't even pay
just maybe not
attention.
even make a statement. And so yeah, it's very interesting the way they've gone about it. We weren't even going to continue on with it. We interviewed one woman. The thing is, when we made that first video, I got dozens of messages on
So
Facebook
from so many
from
people.
people that are like, "Oh my God, get these people out of our area. This woman's been a scammer her whole life.
You know, this woman
She,
did this to me and
yeah,
in this
it's pretty
way. And
bad." And
Wow.
emails, just it was insane the amount of people, and they're all afraid. And if you watch our early videos, I made jokes about why are people so afraid? Like, dude, we've been around groups
real,
of people
yeah,
who you'd be afraid of.
yeah.
Yeah.
People act like it's Cosa Nostra or something that these people are. But now we're finding out why.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
You
because they
know,
don't want to be attacked like they're doing to
they
us.
go after
You
you
know.
professionally,
Yeah.
personally, whatever.
They don't have any limitations we've found. You know, they go after you, your personal life, your job. You work at a charity. Oh, wait, no, you don't. Not anymore.
Yeah, she lost her
Um,
position. They get a kick out of that.
So
yeah,
they sort of use their connections and the community that they built up online to like sort of like ruin people's reputations,
yeah,
That's
you
right.
know, call,
Discredit.
try to like, call their boss or their place of employment or whatever and say,
Yep,
"Oh,
that happened.
this person's terrible, blah blah blah." Try to
oh
get you
yeah,
You hate
fired,
homeless
try to
people.
get you fired, stuff like that. Is that
oh
what they
yeah.
do?
They tried to get him fired already.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
boss actually, I went to, we're more like partners, Paul. I went to him and told him exactly what I was doing, and he
from the
was
beginning.
about it.
Yeah,
Put it that way. When I told him what was happening here, and what we discovered was that it was a little more than just a woman who had a homeless camp who was maybe taking some off the top.
yeah, it's
It's
way
more
more
than
than
that.
that. Way
It
more.
it fits. There's normally 7 bullet points to what makes something a cult. it fits all 7 at this point.
Yeah, there's like one that was hanging on that it didn't fit for a little
Yeah.
while, and now they went full blown into
They
that.
went full cult
So
mode.
it
We actually
fits,
criticized them for not
it fits all of
pushing the
them
religion part of it enough, and they actually did it
now.
immediately.
Now they're pastors.
It's almost like, yeah. So yeah, pastors. So we recognize that it was both criminal, exploitive, and it's a cult. We realize that this whole time she's been building. She had these tents set up before the disaster, I believe.
Yeah, I can't remember what the
Or
date
right,
actually was.
yeah,
I think
maybe
it was
right
after
But she had no one in them.
for a long time.
This was like planning, marketing, living a strange dream, because she used to run a homeless shelter, and there's all kinds of
Yeah, there's a lot of ick there. We'll just leave it at that.
and basically this is her shot at doing that again without having to, rely on, or not rely on, but not having to be checked by, say, officials and things like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know
No
what I mean?
checks and balances in this type of situation.
No.
So
Right.
she
There's
can
no
just
501c3 until a few days ago. So like, yeah, like nothing had to be accounted for that she's bringing in.
that
And
makes
it's a
sense.
lot. You know what I mean? So she was building this, and she has a structure to it in her mind, which is essentially no structure that helps anyone. It actually really negatively affects people.
Yeah.
At best, it puts them in the position they were already in.
Or
And she's actually like recruiting them, meaning people aren't coming to her going, "I'm homeless, help me get a camper," any of that kind of
she
stuff.
drives around
Right.
looks for 'em.
She grabs the most vulnerable or the most screwed up people off the street, specifically ones that she knows she can kick out soon before she has to quote unquote transition them to a camper or whatever,
Right.
because of their particular problems. And she'll badmouth, or John Ward will badmouth them and say they were drug addicts. It's like, yeah, that's what you went out and got.
Yeah.
You know?
Not all of them were drug addicts. Actually, a lot of them weren't.
No. I
Come to
mean,
find out,
no, I was actually surprised a little bit.
I
But yeah.
was too.
Yeah, but I mean, so just so people understand, I just want to read this really quick. It's just a paragraph. According to the Lowledge Center, a cult is a group, religious organization, or family structure of any size led by a charismatic leader. Cults control their members through manipulation, abuse, and coercion. These groups feature transcendent belief systems and create self-sealing systems from which followers find it difficult to escape. It has a lot to do with essentially preying on the weakest people you can find.
So she's definitely, so in your opinion, she's the cult leader, and this John guy is sort of the mouthpiece or the front man
Right.
Yeah.
to put a rosy picture on the whole
Right.
thing.
Yes.
Very much
Totally
so.
branding. Yes.
Okay.
And her husband is what is referred to as a sidekick or enforcer. And they have their specific role within a cult as well. So,
Now
and
she
now they've also got another sidekick, which most cults that are successful do this. They will have one or two people within the cult who essentially take power, not take power, but uh, they'll snitch on or enforce the rules or
They get
on the
so
other members.
brainwashed that they eventually end up becoming like some type of power within the cult in a way where they, just end up very close to the cult leaders, and they'll basically be the errand boy or girl and do whatever they tell them to do, and they'll be the happy face of like, we love Jonestown, it's great.
Yeah, it's worked great for me. Look at this. They're
and that's
usually the success
and
story.
that's her that's her husband, you said?
No. That's
they've got
actually,
their-
well, her husband's a sidekick slash enforcer.
Yeah.
The other sidekick would be the one who's within the members.
yeah,
You know, and
he was a resident there, and now he's
now through most of this, people being members, they'd be more viewed as residents at Hope Village. But now it has gone in the direction that we saw it going based on all of this literature, where anybody who finds themselves, say, backing into their driveway to turn their truck around or something,
yeah.
they get surrounded and the members all
that.
have picket signs, and they've got a camera ready. So they're playing this victim, us versus them,
Everybody hates us. The world's out to get us.
and we're
The
just trying to
neighbors
help
hate
people,
us. There's
doing
YouTubers
Jesus's
that
work.
hate us.
Right.
Wow.
You know, just like Jesus, you know, persecution, all that kind of stuff. And the us versus them thing is absolutely vital in
Yeah.
a
Now,
cult.
the people that, the people with the picket signs, the cameras that are, running out and all this, are they, how are they benefiting? Or are they just so, are they, for lack of a better term, the cult members? But like, are these actual homeless people that
Yeah.
are stuck in this situation and they just have to believe this? Or
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just kind of have to go along with whatever,
because
so
their
to keep
survival depends on it, basically.
Yeah.
yeah.
So they were, most of them are homeless already on the street or in the woods.
I got
And
you.
she
Okay.
brought them in. Now she's resorted to, and this kind of shows the pattern of it becoming a full blown cult. They are all between the ages of 51 and 70. So
Wow.
there's a lot of control involved there. There's a lot of keeping you from the outside world. There was, okay, you would figure if this is like, she called it transitional living through the whole thing. So it's kind of like somebody's homeless, down on their luck, whatever. You bring them in, they stay in a hot tent. A lot of this was through the winter, so they were viewed as heroes for helping to get them off the street or whatever.
Yeah.
They stay in a hot tent. After a while, if they quote unquote follow the program, they get a camper, and then after some time after that, supposedly they'll get like a trailer, a house or apartment, whatever. But we found there's absolutely no real program. The only people that
None.
get transitioned, I mean, we've interviewed a lot of people. It's not actually even a transition. What it is when you start asking too many questions,
Or you
you get
say
a
something they
camper.
don't like, oh, you're out.
Yeah, that you don't get a title for the camper. They put you in the middle of nowhere. And that's another big part of this. They are always very isolated.
Yes.
So they put you in the middle of nowhere. You still have no job. You have no ability to pay rent, but now you got to pay rent.
And no
They're setting you up to
coverage.
fail so that they can say, yeah, this person was a loser. If they say anything negative about me, it's
Right.
just them again. We tried.
Right.
But that's a big part of it is the isolation. And one of our criticisms that we kept talking about, just as far as love of humanity, is if you're going to put these people in this situation, you need to give them a chance to better themselves. So maybe, there's always talk of getting them their IDs,
Yeah.
getting them jobs, doing things like that. But none of that was done for months.
None.
So they solved that. They brought in nothing but practically senior citizens on Social Security and stuff. But now they do have a van and supposedly going to drive some people to some job interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
But none of them are really looking to do that.
Yeah,
So
right. They're just sort of doing the bare minimum to appear legitimate.
yeah,
Well, and they're only doing that because we called it out that they weren't.
that's the honest to
Right,
God.
right, because
The
they
timing is
probably,
impeccable.
it doesn't sound
Every
like they
time
were
we
doing anything prior to that.
they were
No.
never there. Now they're there a lot.
Yeah.
They had basically claimed a lot of times that slipped and said we live off grid with these people in our camper that was donated, but we found and a lot of other people found that was BS. They were like never there. So they started staying there. Like that they had a house. Like it was BS. So now they're staying there. They've cleared all this land that they suckered this guy into basically giving them. They've set it up zoned as a campground. And now they're saying like it's only a 30-day thing. Like we bring people in a tent, we help them out, we might get them a camper that's donated. That is not what was pushed the whole time.
No.
That is to avoid it being seen that what we're saying is true.
Mhm.
That this was all just BS. The amount of donations that these people are forced to go and load into these warehouses,
And
these
they're
external
not
warehouses,
getting.
they're not getting them. They're for quote unquote people in the future, the next people.
Yeah.
The amount is just insane. Like there was a lot of stuff that come in, for instance, that was like, I won't get into weeds too much, but like generators and solar panels, all this expensive stuff. And they even got donated a dually truck that they actually use. But
Yeah.
all this expensive stuff came in, and you notice it's not a part of the of Hope Village. But they didn't have a hub where they're giving stuff away either. So it's just gone.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of financial gain here. It's a hustle. but at the same time, there's a lot of control involved. There's future plans with this thing, and there is an us versus them mentality. There's, so that there is kind of a belief system, at least. I did this, you can too.
Yeah.
We're doing Jesus's work, that sort of thing. So it all kind of adds up to being something that we didn't think it was going to be.
What
Yeah.
what repercussions have you faced in saying all this publicly about these people? And if it's been severe or dangerous in your opinion, how do you advise that people who share information about cults should share it, if at all, based on what you're going through now with dealing with these people?
You want me to answer?
Well, I mean, the repercussions that we're facing are we have to go to court. We got chased down in our vehicle with our daughter in the car, just for driving down the road. I don't know how the heck they knew we were there
Yeah.
or who we were. We got chased down the road. He jumped out of the vehicle at us, all this stuff. That was great. And then we had to go and talk to police. We've had to talk to police so many stinking times. It makes me sick. We've had threats come from people that we don't even know, that don't know us. I had my position at a charity that I, loved and did a lot of hard work at, taken away from me because people that are stands, and people won't get what that is,
Sycophant.
but people don't know what that is.
No.
People
We
that
know.
are stupid blind followers of not, they sent emails to the place where I was volunteering at with a bunch of lies about me, and they just didn't have my back whatsoever, believed it, and yeah,
No doubt.
now we don't talk anymore, really.
It will affect your life if you see something like this going on. If you decide to start talking about it, I mean, there's the other thing where just for during the attack situation, we only filed a report because they did. They basically raced us to the court to claim stalking, which it doesn't fit stalking, and nothing we've done fits stalking. I'm not going to go into details, but it just doesn't. Maybe I'll put it on the screen or something, but. That's the other thing. You're going to be shown as a stalker. You're going to have this guy John Ward at the courthouse.
Oh yeah,
painting you as
to ambush you,
a loser, a bad guy. Yeah, dude, it's unbelievable. They're theater kids.
It's like the press is outside waiting for you when you come out, like you're
he's got the microphone with the wind thing on it.
Ridiculous.
But there's that. There was like trying to get me fired from my job. There was threatening to dox us. There is watching our home and our child get off the bus.
Yeah.
It's gotten a little too personal.
Way too personal.
And what I'm going to say is that
who threatened to watch your kid getting off the bus? Who was that?
Not even a threat. The guy did.
He said that people did.
Girl not knew the time and where our kid gets off the bus. He knew things.
He said that on his channel.
He said that in text.
In text, yeah. And things, new details about things that in our life that there is no. God dang it, dude. New details about things in our life and things that happen with their charity because of this and stuff that no one could possibly know.
No.
So, yes, obviously, all of this is going to sound scary to anyone who sees something like this happening. And you're going to think, well, I'm not saying a damn word.
Right. Why would I want to say anything?
But the thing that's helped us and the thing that's important in this is that people approach it like a community. God dang. Put him in other rooms.
We'll have to cut that out.
Jesus fucking Christ. I didn't want to edit it. I spent my whole life.
The cat just wants his interview, man.
I know. He thinks he can
get him the fuck out of here.
The cat just wants his
motherfucker always getting in front of the camera.
He just wants his 2 minutes of fame. That's it, man.
That's it. And so
hold on, I gotta grab some water. Hold on.
All right, cool. He went to get some water. Can't get anything accomplished without things and people getting in the way. But yeah, what I'm trying to get to is just that. Well, we talked about it. It's like it's hard for me to express the worry and fear and stuff because it's not my nature to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, and you don't want to show weakness to people who may be watching. You know, you don't want to show weakness and worry. Um,
God is on their side anyway.
I do too.
The ones that are, doing this for righteous reasons. I mean, going back and forth with them or him or any of that, they weren't coming at us with the things that they are.
I'll go down to 70 bullet points of it. What happened with this camera? That's weird. Zoomed in on its own.
Well, if you probably set it down.
Okay, good. Oh, we got comments on YouTube. What's that?
Can you see me?
Oh, Citizen of Christ needs to be told about, in my opinion, just as much. All right, cool. Oh, because they're talking about John. Well, he is part of it. So yeah,
Am I here?
yeah, you're here.
You can see me?
Yeah. So as far as people hearing all of that and still being willing to come forward if they see something like this in their community, and it goes on a lot more than people realize, to be honest. I don't know if we'll get into it later, but a lot of street gangs actually fit a cult.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of MLMs actually do.
Definitely.
So a lot of this goes on, and yes, these people are desperate to protect what they've created. It's more than just financial. It's more than just their reputation. It's
their ego.
it's
their pride.
it's an ego thing. It is their entire existence. Nobody will ever worship a cult leader more than the cult leader.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what this is. So
Yeah.
as far as being willing to talk about it, people need to approach it like a community, just like they would any other problem. Say a dangerous offender moved into their neighborhood. She brought this possibility up, or this analogy up earlier. They would get together, their little book clubs, and get together with the church, and everybody would, people don't even know their neighbors nowadays, but they would bond over this, and they would attack it. And I know that the difficulty in it, if you start to talk about it, not only are you going to get attacked, but also you're going to feel like nothing will be done. Like there's no, you can't prove any laws being broken and stuff like that.
The cops will only work with you so much. They don't want to, call you back.
It's hard to prove anything. I mean, that's part of the whole damn thing. But just stick with it, because people will begin to see the puzzle pieces coming together. They will communicate to others in a way that others won't be brought in to that cult, taken advantage of. And honestly, if it's something like this where money's being raised, if you can use social media or whatever it is and just get the word out that this is essentially a cult, you can affect their income.
Yeah.
And without their income, obviously they're kind of screwed. But I'll just say that real quick, I'll just say that the 7 points, and there's 2 versions of this list, but they're essentially the same. The 7 things that are gonna, if you see a group who you believe there's something deeper to it, it could be a long-term threat. It could really exploit people at their lowest, use them, just leave people destitute at the end, whatever it is. You think it may fit the C word. The 7 points are going to be and they're in no particular order. Number 1, deception and manipulation. Number 2, control over their members. Number 3, exploitation. Number 4, isolation. Number 5, mind control. Number 6, indoctrination. Number 7, control of information. Any kind of outside input. There's certain countries that do that.
Yeah.
Just as an example, like North Korea. People in North Korea, people in China really only know what they're allowed to know.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to that. And 2 other things that'll tie into it is there's a polarized mentality, an us versus them type of thing.
It has to be.
Which creates conflict with the outside world.
Yeah.
It starts out as Nobody understands us, nobody will help us. We figured out the way, depending on how religious the particular cult is, it might be that. But either way, it's going to be an us versus them thing that sounds great at first because it's like, hey, people who believe in the same thing are together. We're going to help each other win. But after a while, it causes a real conflict and oftentimes downright war with the community around them or society or whatever. It never turns out well. And then, they use a lot of fear and guilt. And there's an elitism about it, a belief in the groups or leaders kind of special exalted status.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to necessarily be like, say, on a spiritual level. It could be like, I did this, I did that.
Yeah.
I can do this for you.
I can look up to you. You're better than me. You're helping so many people. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm so appreciative because I had nothing and now I have a place to sleep.
Right.
Like that.
So that's what people need to identify, or need to kind of at least raise an eyebrow, maybe whisper something to somebody if they see the majority of those bullet points present
Right.
in their community.
And I always stick with their strength in numbers, man. Like their strength in numbers, and anybody who watches this too, I want you to know if you guys are people that are like behind us, that we talk to, that support us in this, there's strength in numbers, and we need y'all now more than ever. So if you have like a community around you of people that believe in what you're doing, know that this thing over here is wrong and like they want it gone, you need to really stick together and double down and be a strong unit. If you have that, then the fear and the worry is not going to affect you nearly as much because you know that you've got people that back you and it's out in the open that they're there.
That's right.
And you need that. You really need that. So I mean, I know people are afraid, and I get it. Trust me, I get it now. I really do.
So,
We need you.
there's something really interesting though, I should add. There is a group that's considered a very dangerous cult.
Oh yeah,
Word of Faith Fellowship.
it's been going on for a very, 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 very long time.
I'm not going to say much about them. I'm going to deal with one dangerous group at a time. But but interestingly enough, they are from Spindale, North Carolina. So is this woman.
Yeah.
They're from the same place. That's a tiny place. I mean, a few thousand.
That can't be a coincidence.
No.
I don't believe in coincidences anymore. So she probably crossed their path at some point.
They run the town, the county, like the hospital, everything. There is a possibility there's a beef there, so maybe WAF will help clean house. But what's interesting about that is you kind of knew this woman. You read between the lines, maybe she was planning something, or at least something having to do with her own personal PR, because when there was a news story where these young guys shared audio of some horrible things that were happening at Word of Faith, and it was on a bunch of shows.
Thing, yeah, a lot of documentaries.
It was filmed at I don't know, it was like Spindale City Hall or something. Yeah. It's on AP. It's on the AP official AP channel on YouTube and whatnot. She's the thumbnail.
Yeah,
wearing a Sisters in Christ hood sweatshirt. She is the thumbnail. So what's interesting about this is just a year or so ago, she put a post up. There's a list on the Google listing for Word of Faith Fellowship where it gives you these insane laws.
The list of no's.
Yeah, the list of no's. That's what it's called. And so she shared that on Facebook and basically said, like, oh my God, what the heck is this? As though she'd never seen it. But rewind, like, what was it, 4 years or something like that? She's on the damn thumbnail filming the whole situation that went on TV.
Yeah.
So it's like, pretend to not know about this cult. I think that has something to do with it. It's just an interesting tidbit.
It is. It's yeah, I don't know if I don't think it's a coincidence either.
But yeah, like you said, it's not a coincidence. So maybe people will notice things like that about someone or a group around them.